Chapter 3, The Rejected Children. Mary the mystical girl was crying. She was distraught because many children in the world were being neglected, abused, enslaved, or killed. Mary's gentle heart was always fond of children. She could not bear the thought of this terrible reign of terror against children in this supposedly modern world. The world was being run secretly by the evil spirit of King Herod. Herod's spirit was poisoning the minds and hearts of leaders to accept this new slaughter of the innocents. And as in his time, Herod was wiping out generations of children from the earth. Nino, with his love for Mary, could not bear the sight of his mother crying. Others in the Exilium and Via team tried to console Mary. Angela told Mary stories of how beautiful Mount Makiling in the Philippines was from the sky. Karok sang Mary sweet songs that normally kept sea travelers from being lonely on long journeys in the Pacific Ocean. Whisper tried to relax Mary's mind with happy, serene thoughts of the beautiful wildflowers in the Victorian bush. Speed took Mary for a long, fast ride in his pouch throughout the sunny plains of Spain to warm her sad heart. Even Brudet pitched in. He cracked funny jokes about dogs and cats for Mary. Mary appreciated and thanked all of them for trying their best to help her forget her grief, but she could not shake this off. Nino, to console Mary, decided to tell her a secret that he said would cast her grief away. This was a project he had been working on since Herod's slaughter of children. Mary and the whole team listened intently to Nino. Nino, Mother, Father Jose and I have been working to save children from the terrible new reign of Herod's spirit among men for a long time. There is a beautiful planet, another world, in a nearby star system called Proxima Centauri. Therein lies a new paradise I have built for the children rejected by the earth because of Herod's spirit's evil influence. Mary's eyes glowed and sparkled with wonder. The rest of the team were relieved to see her stop crying. Mary, tell me more, Nino. Nino, Father Jose built with his army of builder angels a big ark, bigger and better than Noah's Ark. We call it the Exilium Arkansas. We take the children of earth who are neglected, abused, or enslaved to this Arkansas. The children who have died, I bring their souls back to their healed bodies and give them life again like I did with Lazarus. We take all these children rejected by the earth to this planet that I have named Theotokos. There, they are raised by a race of grateful aliens who look very much like Earth people. You see, this race of aliens has been barren because of a nuclear war they had thousands of years ago. They cannot bear children. They prayed for ages for children. They were happy to accept those rejected by other races in the universe. And so, they were delighted to accept Earth's rejected children. The future is bright for planet Theotokos because of these children, and I can show you why. Mary shed tears of joy and began smiling too upon hearing these. Mary, when you show me, Nino, I would like to take along the leaders of the earth who are under the spell of Herod's spirit so they will realize what the earth stands to lose if they continue following Herod's spirit's ways. Nino, of course, Mother. And so, Nino took the whole Exilium and Via team on the Exilium Ark through time travel to 50 years into the future. Along with them, Mary brought the kings and queens of earth along for the ride through a common vision they all experienced at the same time. As they got closer to the planet Theotokos, they saw and marveled at the natural beauty of the planet. It was full of radiant light, life, and colors. The houses were simple dome structures that received and regulated light from their star Proxima Centauri. There were also big gathering places which again were dome-shaped where the inhabitants could congregate. There were trees and plants and fields of various colors in their cities and huge forests. There were all kinds of animals in both trees and forests. The planet was rich in clean water in its oceans, seas, lakes, and rivers. The air was pure and sweet-smelling like the rare crimson roses you find on Earth. The Exilium Ark landed in the heart of the city called Faith. Faith was the first city built based on the environmentally friendly plan made by one of the Earth rejects, children rejected by the Earth. The Exilium team was met by a joyful, welcome crowd led by a lady named Fatima. Fatima, we are honored by your visit, Nino, Mother Mary and your team. It has been a while since you last visited. Mary, yes, Fatima, I remember you as a child fleeing the war in Syria. You have grown. Fatima, and I owe you my life, Mother Mary, for saving me then. Let me give you a tour of the city and tell you of how we have been the last 50 years. Mary, that will be exciting. And so, Fatima led the Exilium team on a tour of Faith City. It was a beautiful city with vibrant lights, trees, houses, and inhabitants of different races, who looked like humans, from many planets. The differences among the races were mostly in their skin color, size, eye shapes, ear shapes and number of fingers in their hands. Some had 3, some had 4, and some had 5. The inhabitants looked happy. There were also animals running and jumping around, including dogs, cats, and kangaroos and others like them, and this fascinated Brooded in speed. There were multicolored birds flying everywhere, and Agila and Whisper were delighted to see this. The city also had a huge lake filled with dolphins and seals, which amazed Car Oak. All this time, the kings and queens of the earth were witnessing the tour in a vision. After an hour, Fatima started her talk about their history. The kings and queens of the earth listened intently. Fatima talked about how before the rejects arrived, Theotokos was devastated by a nuclear war that left only 1/3 of the population alive. The radiation contaminated animals and plants and even people. People could no longer bear children. At the high point of their despair, Nino, Spirit the Dove and Father Jose came and brought the rejects from Earth and 2 other planets. Nino, Spirit the Dove and Father Jose and his army of builder angels cleaned up all the radiation and destruction of the nuclear war in 1 year, which gave Theotokos and its inhabitants a second chance to build their civilization. The rejects then were given to barren couples who raised them. The rejects, as they grew up, contributed new ideas and solutions to problems planet Theotokos encountered the last 45 years. Mary, there are big problems on Earth now. Wars, the corona plague, and the increasing number of people turning away from God. Did Theotokos face any of these? Fatima, yes, we did encounter similar problems. Mary, how did you solve them? Fatima, the rejects gave us new ideas we never heard of as they grew up. These ideas solved our problems. One of the Earth rejects found a cure for and stopped the Ebola plague, a disease borne by air that killed many people in 3 to 5 days. Another reject brought old and young people together in a big movement called storytelling, wherein the young took care of the old in exchange for the old telling stories of their own lives. This movement was a success. It eliminated the loneliness left by the devastation after the nuclear war. There were also wars started by a few insane kings, but these were stopped when one of the rejects invented a device, a portable force field, that could protect a person from any weapon such as bullets, bombs and laser beams. When everyone was given this safety field device, war became useless because no one could be hurt by weapons anymore. Mary, that is wonderful to hear. I am so happy for Theotokos. Earth must learn a lesson from your story. After Fatima's talk, Nino bade farewell to Fatima and the crowd, which grew as the minutes passed. Mary's grief about the rejected children of the world was gone as she saw they had thrived in a better world. She was also hopeful that the vision of the trip that the kings and queens of the earth experienced would make them change for the better so they could lead their kingdoms well. The Exilium team then rode on their ark 50 years back in time. Brooded, Agila, Whisper, Speed and Car Oak were all thankful for the beautiful and unique experience. Arriving back on Earth 50 years earlier, Mary was hopeful of how the vision they had experienced would change the kings and queens of the earth to make them finally protect their children. The whole team was also excited about bringing the solutions brought by the rejects of Earth to Theotokos to solve the problems of war, plagues, and loneliness on Earth. Nino and Father Jose promised Mary and the team that they would make all of this happen. And the kings and queens of the world, after the vision they had experienced with Mary, started changing the way they ran their kingdoms, and began to protect their children.